In 1922, a small, isolated farmstead in Bavaria, Germany, became the scene of one of the most chilling and mysterious murder cases in history. The Hinterkaifeck farm, located between the towns of Ingolstadt and Schrobenhausen, was home to the Gruber family. The gruesome events that transpired there would forever leave an eerie mark on the region. Andreas Gruber, his wife Casilia, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, and Victoria's children, Casilia and Joseph, lived a quiet, secluded life on their farm. The farm hands had recently quit, leaving the family to manage the farm on their own. Life on Hinterkaifeck was hard but uneventful, until one night in March 1922. Strange occurrences began to unfold. Andreas noticed mysterious footprints in the snow leading from the forest to the farm, but none leading back. Despite his thorough search, he found no intruder. The family heard footsteps in the attic, and their house keys disappeared. These unsettling events created a growing sense of dread among the Grubers. On the night of March 31, 1922, the farmhouse fell ominously silent. Neighbors grew concerned when young Casilia missed school, and the entire family failed to attend Sunday church services. By April 4th, their concern led several townspeople to visit the farm to check on the Grubers. What they discovered would haunt them forever. The farm was eerily quiet, and as they entered the barn, they stumbled upon a horrific scene. Andreas, his wife Casilia, Victoria, and young Casilia were found brutally murdered, their bodies stacked on top of each other and covered with hay. Each had been bludgeoned to death with a mattock, a type of pickaxe. Inside the farmhouse, they found the bodies of Joseph and the maid, Maria Baumgartner, who had only started working there the day before. Both had met the same violent end. The entire family had been murdered with ruthless precision. The investigation revealed more terrifying details. The killer had stayed in the house for several days after the murders, eating meals, tending to the livestock, and even lighting fires in the hearth. This eerie behavior suggested a deeply disturbed individual who was disturbingly comfortable among the bodies of his victims. Despite a thorough investigation, no clear motive or suspect was ever identified. Numerous theories emerged over the years, including speculation about a possible lover's quarrel involving Victoria, or a sinister connection to a family inheritance. The brutality and the killer's eerie familiarity with the farm suggested it was someone who knew the Grubers well. Adding to the mystery, strange events continued to haunt Hinterkaifeck. Local legends spoke of ghostly apparitions and unexplained noises emanating from the abandoned farmstead. People reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps in the attic, and even seeing shadowy figures moving through the dilapidated buildings. In 1923, the farmstead was demolished, but the gruesome legacy of the Hinterkaifeck murders lingered. Artifacts from the crime, including the murder weapon, were put on display in the local museum, drawing curious visitors and paranormal enthusiasts from far and wide. The unsolved nature of the crime, combined with the eerie prelude and aftermath, cemented the Hinterkaifeck murders as one of the most chilling and enduring mysteries in true crime history. Today, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of Germany's most infamous cold cases. The remote farmstead, now an overgrown and desolate plot of land, stands as a silent witness to the horror that unfolded nearly a century ago. The story of the Gruber family and their gruesome fate continues to evoke fear and fascination, a dark reminder of the unknown terrors that can lurk in the shadows of our lives. The Hinterkaifeck murders, echoes of the past. Despite the passage of time, the Hinterkaifeck murders continued to cast a long, dark shadow over the region. Stories of the gruesome events were passed down through generations, each retelling adding to the farm's sinister legend. Yet, the mystery remained unsolved, and the unanswered questions only fueled the chilling atmosphere surrounding the abandoned farmstead. In 1952, 30 years after the murders, a journalist named Klaus Richter became intrigued by the case. He had grown up hearing whispers of the Hinterkaifeck murders and was determined to uncover the truth. Armed with his curiosity and a few old photographs of the crime scene, Klaus began his investigation. Klaus spent months poring over old police reports, interviewing elderly locals, and exploring the remnants of the Hinterkaifeck farm. His research led him to several intriguing leads, But one name kept resurfacing: Lorenz Schlittenbauer. Schlittenbauer was a neighbor who had been one of the first to discover the bodies. There were rumors of a romantic involvement with Victoria and whispers that Joseph, the youngest victim, was his illegitimate child. One evening, Klaus received an anonymous letter. The envelope contained a single, cryptic message: "The answers you seek lie within the walls of Hinterkaifeck." Determined to find the truth, Klaus decided to spend a night at the farm. On a cold, moonlit night, Klaus arrived at the desolate plot where the Hinterkaifeck farm once stood. The atmosphere was oppressive, and the wind howled through the trees, creating an eerie symphony. Armed with a flashlight and his notepad, Klaus made his way to the barn, now just a skeleton of its former self. As he entered the barn, the temperature seemed to drop, and a profound sense of unease washed over him. Klaus began to explore, carefully examining the walls and floors for any hidden clues. Hours passed, and just as he was about to give up, his flashlight beam caught something unusual: a loose floorboard near where the bodies had been found. With trembling hands, Klaus pried the floorboard loose, revealing a small, hidden compartment. Inside, he found a dusty, leather-bound journal. The journal appeared to belong to Andreas Gruber, and its contents were shocking. The entries detailed a series of bizarre and terrifying events leading up to the murders. Andreas wrote of hearing disembodied voices, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. He also mentioned a stranger who had visited the farm, claiming to be a long-lost relative. This stranger had unsettled the entire family, and Andreas suspected he had sinister motives. As Klaus read the journal, he felt a presence behind him. Turning slowly, he saw a shadowy figure standing in the doorway. The figure's eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and it slowly advanced toward him. Klaus's heart pounded in his chest as he realized he was not alone. The ghostly figure raised an arm, pointing directly at him, and Klaus heard a whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once: "Leave this place." Panicked, Klaus grabbed the journal and fled the barn, the figure's presence following him until he reached his car. He sped away, the journal clutched tightly in his hands, vowing never to return to Hinterkaifeck. Back in his apartment, Klaus meticulously examined the journal. He discovered that the mysterious stranger had indeed been connected to the murders. Andreas had grown increasingly paranoid, believing the stranger was plotting against the family. The journal ended abruptly, with a final, chilling entry: "He is coming for us. We cannot escape." Klaus published his findings, which reignited public interest in the case. However, despite the new evidence, the identity of the killer remained elusive. The journal's revelations only deepened the mystery, suggesting that the murders were not just a crime of passion or revenge but something far more sinister. Years later, Klaus received another anonymous letter. This time, it contained a single photograph: an old, faded image of the Hinterkaifeck farm with the shadowy figure standing in the foreground, its eyes glowing with the same malevolent light he had seen in the barn. The message on the back read: "Some secrets are meant to remain buried." The Hinterkaifeck murders, shrouded in mystery and supernatural intrigue, continue to haunt the collective memory. The chilling events of that fateful night, the eerie premonitions, and the ghostly figure that guards the secrets of the past serve as a grim reminder that some questions may never be answered. The farm remains a dark enigma, its terrifying legacy etched into the annals of true crime history, whispering its haunting tale to those brave enough to listen. Klaus Richter's investigation had unearthed more questions than answers, leaving him haunted by the specter of Hinterkaifeck. Determined to uncover the truth, he continued his research, delving deeper into the history of the farm and its inhabitants. As he pieced together the fragments of the past, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. One night, Klaus received a phone call from a woman named Greta Mahler, an elderly resident of a nearby town. Greta claimed to have known Victoria Gabriel and had information that might shed light on the case. Klaus eagerly agreed to meet her, hoping for a breakthrough. Greta's home was filled with relics of the past, and she welcomed Klaus with a warm, if nervous, smile. Over tea, she recounted her memories of the Gruber family, painting a picture of a troubled household. Victoria had confided in Greta about her fears and suspicions, particularly regarding her father, Andreas. According to Greta, Victoria believed that her father was involved in dark practices, and she feared for her safety and that of her children. Greta also revealed a chilling piece of information. A few days before the murders, Victoria had spoken of a stranger who had come to the farm, a man claiming to be a distant relative. This man had unsettled Victoria, and she confided in Greta that she believed he was watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike. Klaus felt a cold shiver run down his spine as Greta's story confirmed the entries in Andreas's journal. The mysterious stranger seemed to be at the heart of the haunting and the murders. But who was he, and why had he targeted the Gruber family? As Klaus was leaving, Greta handed him an old photograph. It showed Victoria and her children standing in front of the farmhouse. In the background, barely visible, was the shadowy figure Klaus had seen in the photograph sent to him earlier. "I found this among Victoria's things after the murders," Greta said. "I always wondered who that man was." Determined to find out, Klaus returned to the site of Hinterkaifeck one last time, armed with the journal, the photograph, and the fragments of information he had gathered. As he explored the ruins, he felt a familiar sense of dread, as if the very air was charged with malevolence. In the cellar of the farmhouse, Klaus discovered an old, rusted chest hidden behind a false wall. Inside, he found a collection of letters and documents that had belonged to Andreas. The letters detailed a series of transactions and correspondences with a man named Wilhelm Bauer, who claimed to be a distant cousin. The tone of the letters grew increasingly sinister, with Wilhelm demanding money and threatening the family if his demands were not met. The final letter, dated just days before the murders, contained a chilling message: "I will have what is mine. The darkness will consume you all." Klaus felt a sudden chill as he read the words. The pieces were falling into place. Wilhelm Bauer, the mysterious stranger, had come to Hinterkaifeck to claim what he believed was rightfully his. But his obsession had turned deadly, fueled by a darkness that seemed almost supernatural. As Klaus turned to leave, he heard a faint whisper, like a breath of wind through the cellar. "You should not have come back," the voice said, sending a jolt of terror through him. He spun around, his flashlight beam cutting through the shadows, but there was no one there. Klaus hurried out of the cellar, his heart pounding. As he reached the barn, he felt a presence behind him once more. He turned and saw the shadowy figure, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. "Leave this place," the figure whispered, "or you will join them." Klaus fled the farm, the echo of the whisper lingering in his mind. He knew he had uncovered the truth, but at what cost? The darkness that had consumed the Gruber family seemed to have claimed Wilhelm Bauer, turning him into a vengeful spirit that now haunted the farm. Back in his apartment, Klaus wrote his final article, detailing the horrific events and the sinister figure of Wilhelm Bauer. He hoped that, by sharing the story, he could finally put the restless spirits of Hinterkaifeck to rest. But as he finished, he felt an overwhelming sense of unease, as if the darkness he had uncovered was now watching him. In the years that followed, Klaus was plagued by strange occurrences. He heard whispers in the night, saw shadowy figures in the corners of his vision, and felt a constant, oppressive presence. The haunting of Hinterkaifeck had followed him, a chilling reminder that some secrets are never truly buried. Klaus Richter's story became another chapter in the legend of Hinterkaifeck, a tale of obsession, murder, and supernatural terror that continues to captivate and terrify those who hear it. The farm remains a dark enigma, its legacy of horror echoing through time, whispering its tale to those brave enough to listen. The Hinterkaifeck legacy, a new mystery unfolds. The shadow of Hinterkaifeck seemed to stretch far beyond its abandoned ruins, casting a dark veil over those who delved into its past. Klaus Richter's investigation had uncovered unsettling truths, but it had also left him with a lingering sense of dread. He hoped that his revelations would finally bring closure, but the darkness surrounding the farm seemed to have a life of its own. Years passed, and the Hinterkaifeck case remained a chilling tale of unsolved mystery. In 2022, a new figure emerged, Eva Myler, a historian specializing in paranormal phenomena and historical enigmas. Intrigued by the Hinterkaifeck murders and the chilling reports of Klaus Richter, Eva decided to revisit the case with fresh eyes and modern technology. Eva began by reviewing Klaus's work and the new evidence he had uncovered, including the documents and letters from Wilhelm Bauer. She was particularly interested in a theory that had emerged in recent years, that the haunting was not just a result of the murders but was somehow tied to a hidden, dark ritual associated with the land. Armed with cutting-edge equipment, Eva set out to investigate the Hinterkaifeck site. She was joined by a small team of experts in paranormal research, including a psychic medium named Lucas Weiss. Lucas had a reputation for his ability to communicate with spirits, and Eva hoped his skills would help shed light on the lingering mysteries. On the first night of their investigation, the team set up cameras and recording devices around the ruins. The atmosphere was thick with tension as they began their work. Lucas performed a ritual to open a line of communication with the spirits of the farm, while Eva and her team carefully documented every detail. As Lucas chanted, the temperature in the barn dropped dramatically. The cameras captured strange anomalies: flickering lights, shadowy figures moving in and out of view, and unexplained sounds that echoed through the night. Lucas's eyes widened as he communicated with the spirits, trying to discern their messages. Through Lucas, the spirits revealed unsettling details about the past. They spoke of a secret, ancient ritual performed on the land long before the Gruber family arrived. This ritual, designed to summon and control dark forces, had been interrupted by the arrival of the Grubers, leading to the malevolent spirits' wrath. The spirits also revealed a disturbing connection between Wilhelm Bauer and the ritual. Bauer, a man with a dark obsession, had discovered old records of the ritual and attempted to complete it to gain power and control. His failure to perform the ritual properly had resulted in his own demise and the haunting of Hinterkaifeck. The team was captivated by this revelation. Eva theorized that the ritual's incomplete nature had bound the malevolent spirit to the farm, creating a lingering curse that extended beyond the murders. The restless spirit was not only a product of Bauer's malevolence but also a result of the ritual's dark magic. To uncover more, Eva and her team delved into historical records, searching for any mention of the ancient ritual. Their research led them to a forgotten tome, hidden in the archives of an old library in a nearby town. The tome described a ritual involving the sacrifice of a family to appease a vengeful spirit bound to the land. The similarities between the ritual's descriptions and the events at Hinterkaifeck were eerie and compelling. Determined to put an end to the haunting, Eva and Lucas decided to perform a cleansing ritual on the site, hoping to banish the malevolent spirit and break the curse. They gathered ancient artifacts and performed a series of rituals designed to counteract the dark magic. As the ritual progressed, the atmosphere became increasingly charged with energy. The team felt an oppressive presence, and the cameras recorded strange phenomena: objects moving on their own, flickering lights, and ghostly figures appearing in the darkness. Lucas, channeling the energy, confronted the spirit, demanding that it release its hold on the land. Suddenly, a powerful force surged through the area, causing the cameras to shut down and the team to be thrown into chaos. Eva and Lucas struggled to maintain their composure as the haunting reached its peak. The air crackled with supernatural energy, and a chilling voice echoed through the night, saying, "You cannot undo what has been done." Despite the intense struggle, Eva and Lucas pressed on. With one final incantation, they completed the cleansing ritual, and the oppressive atmosphere began to lift. The ghostly figures faded, and a profound silence fell over the site. Exhausted but hopeful, the team left the farm, unsure if their efforts had succeeded, but determined to believe that they had made a difference. In the weeks following the ritual, reports of strange occurrences at Hinterkaifeck ceased. The once ominous site seemed to calm, and the local community began to view the farm with a newfound sense of peace. While the mystery of the Hinterkaifeck murders remained unresolved, Eva and Lucas's investigation had brought a glimmer of hope that the curse might have been lifted. The legacy of Hinterkaifeck endured, a haunting reminder of the dark forces that once plagued the farm. The story of the Gruber family, Wilhelm Bauer, and the ancient ritual continued to captivate and terrify those who heard it. The site remained a place of eerie fascination, where the echoes of the past lingered, whispering their tale to those brave enough to seek the truth.